Welcome to the Empowered Team Podcast. I am your host, Kari Schneider, and it is a new year. What the heck? How did this happen so fast? I am ready. I'm ready for a new year. That is for sure. So I bet if you're heading into a new year, you probably have some fresh ideas or fresh starts. Remember that fresh start effect I've talked about so many times about how it's a new year or a new month or a new week or a new year of a birthday for you. And what do? Scientifically, it's been shown that we get all revved up and we're motivated to go and do the things and start something new. And I bet that's the case for you. So if you're starting this year with some ideas of what you really want for this year, then I am here to help you make that happen. I don't want you to go a year without seeing through the thing you say you really want. But here's the thing. You're not going to be lacking any motivation right now. The motivation is there. Beginning of the year, the motivation is going to be there for you. The problem is that the plan to make it happen, the things you really want, that usually isn't there. And if it is, there's not the safety net for making sure you see it through. So here's the thing that I see the most with clients who don't put down goal accountability. Whenever I work with a client, I have a form. They fill out a form. It's a pre-coaching review of the past week. If I haven't seen them or talked to them in the past week, I want to know what's gone on. And one of the questions that I ask is, what goal would you like accountability for? And sometimes people leave that blank. I'm like, interesting. And over the years and the thousands and thousands of coaching hours that I've put in, over the years, what I've discovered is that there's usually two reasons why somebody's not putting something in there. One is that they don't have clarity around what the next action is to help them towards their goal. And if that's the case, that's a great problem to have because they're focused on their goal. They just don't know what the next action is exactly, and we can work on that really easily. The other problem is a little more ambiguous. And sometimes when they're not putting in what they want to be accountable for their goal, it's because they're treating their goal like it's this dream, like it's this wonderful, magical place that it's not reality. And when we're trying to get to a dream and when we're trying to make a dream come true, we're putting real things into life to make that dream come true. So I want to propose this to you. And it's that dreams are simply, get ready for it. Dreams are just goals without deadlines. What? That's right. A dream is this imaginary place, but we haven't put the reality, the concrete steps, the things that are really going to make the difference, make it come true. We haven't put them in place. So a dream is just a goal without a deadline. And conversely, a goal is just a dream that respects time, respects reality, and it respects your commitment or the disciplines that you laid out. It's operational. Isn't that cool? The only reason that a dream fails is because it didn't get operationalized. It didn't get turned into something that can tangibly happen in the real world. And that's all your goals need. You know it's a dream, but as soon as you start to put structure around it, it becomes a goal that's possible. It becomes reality. It becomes something that you can see in your life that at one point, when it was a dream, you didn't even know it was really possible. That's what you can do with the amazingness of your dreams, is turn them into goals that make them become your reality. In fact, they start to become who you are, which creates a new identity for you. That's what happens when you make your goals happen, and then what you're really doing is making your dreams come true. Your identity changes. Who you are, who you become changes. It's a really, really cool thing. So here we go. You're not lacking the motivation. You're here, you're listening, you're doing the things. It's January, you want to get going. However, You don't have the structure. The structure is what's needed for a goal to become a reality. That's what you need, is the structure. If you have a goal or a dream, this motivation without structure is like emotional entertainment. It's like wistful thinking. It's like imagination, having an afternoon of imagination. The structure is needed in order for you to make it happen. So you can have all the motivation in the world, but if you don't have the structure around it, you're not going to actually do the things. You could feel great about your new goal. You'd be excited about the dream that's going to happen this year. You could be excited about the next steps you're going to take. But unless you have a structure in place and a plan that's going to help you get there, you're probably going to see your motivation go from way up here to way down there really fast. I don't want that to happen for you. And you'll get good things out of it. You'll learn a lot and all that stuff. But let's just save all that pain and let's just get a structure and get a plan in place. Most of you have heard me say, now vision, next vision, far vision. This is critical, and I'm going to tell you what it's like. If your dream is an emotional pull, your goal is an emotional pull plus some time-bound responsibility. So any of you who have dreams, who you've watched them be there, and you're not doing anything about it, it's because you don't have the structure and the time-bound responsibility. If you have a time frame, if you have this time structure around it and take responsibility for that, then it's becoming a real goal. It's not just a dream. The dream fuels you. It feels good. It looks good in your mind, but it doesn't have reality around it. As soon as you start to put the structure and those actions that come with time-bound responsibility, then those are goals. Those are things. And this is where people will start to say, I don't like goals. I don't make goals. I want to kind of go with the flow. I want to feel my way through it and all that. And that's awesome. I love that. That's how dreams are born, is when you have this desire, when you have this urge, when you have this imaginary place that you think you could possibly do, and you want to figure out how. That's a dream. However, it's going to stay a dream. It's going to stay in your far vision. It's never going to become your next or your now vision if you don't put something in there to make it happen. And the something is actions that are bound to time. It's bound to time. When does this happen? It's a deadline. When does this have to happen? When does this have to happen? When does this have to happen? When you start to have the structure of time working for you, your dreams are as good as done. Your dreams are something that you are confident will happen. It's not a hope anymore. You're not high on hopium. You are actually confident in the knowledge that you are going to do it because you know exactly when each step of the way is going to happen. You believe in yourself because you know you're going to do it. You take responsibility for that time frame. So this is where our now, our next, and our far vision come into play. When we are doing this thing of having a dream, we're pursuing it because we are pursuing an emotion. It's called effective forecasting. Effective forecasting has us pursuing a goal or a dream because we think we're going to feel a certain way when we get there. Nothing wrong with that. You might feel that way when you get there. You might feel that way now, but you might think you're going to get more of that when you get there to that dream or that goal. Either way, it's fine, but if you know you're doing that, you can give yourself a little more of that feeling now. You can give yourself a more of that little oomph, that boost of emotion now if you want that. The dreams are this emotional place that you want to be in. You can offer yourself more of that today, tomorrow. And ultimately, the goals are a proxy for identity change. Goals are something where you are negotiating with who you are now and who you want to become. Because the goal is something that's going to stretch you into a different version of yourself. And so you're having this internal negotiation of, well, this is who I am now, but I want to be the kind of person who, whatever your goal is, makes this much money, doesn't smoke, communicates and has relationships like this. So you're having this dialogue, even battle sometimes, this negotiation between who I am now and I want to be the person who has accomplished this. Because that person does these things. That person is like this. And so there's this identity negotiation going on. And one of the easiest ways to navigate that, because this is why we lose our motivation. Because as soon as we're super motivated, and then we go to do it and it's kind of hard, and we've failed on a deadline, or we don't want the timelines, and we reject those things, and we keep expecting that we're going to be able to do it on our own, we keep doing that, then we have the thought that comes in, oh, maybe I can't. Maybe I'm not the kind of person who does those things. And boo, you've just killed your motivation. You might have even killed your dream. And we don't want that. It's the beginning of January. We got you. You can do this. Keep going. All you need is a plan. Now, the plan isn't going to be it's not going to be the be-all, end-all. The plan is going to help you continue to take action and structure some things so you have a much greater likelihood to complete on the actions that it's going to take to get you to your goal. Remember, your goal is just a dream. It's your dream with a deadline. That's all it is. And if you don't make it by that deadline, does it mean your dream is dead? Hell no. It just means you have a more accurate timeline. That's all. So remember that. We're always operating on now vision, next vision, far vision. Remember, your far vision, this is your dream. This is your goal. Your far vision says, what do I want? Your far vision says, why do I want it? Why does it matter to me emotionally? What am I going to feel when I have that? How is it going to be anchored in my body? Your body speaks the language of emotion. How is it going to feel? Am I going to feel light? Am I going to feel free? Am I going to feel confident? What is it going to feel like? Abundance in my body. That's how the language is spoken in that far vision. It's what do I want? Why do I want it? How is it going to feel? What does this give me? Confidence, peace. What does it give me? And then the next vision operates in the language of what does it look like to have a date associated to the steps that it takes to get there? There's a milestone in there. I promise you. You're not going to something that's a dream without having certain steps that have to be accomplished first. If you are looking to change your relationships, well, maybe you have to start talking to some people that you didn't talk to before. If you're looking to grow a business, well, you probably have to start with some certain KPIs that didn't exist before. If you're looking to start exercise, guess what? You probably have to start to go and do some prescribed movement. Maybe it's some workouts in the gym. But that next vision, that's in the language of what are my milestones and when do they happen? There are some actual deadlines there. Now, people might not like the word deadline. That's okay. I don't care what you want to put on. I like saying the word milestone. Milestone has a date to it. This is when this happens. That's all. I like calling it a milestone. But what does it look like by a specific date? Along the way in the next vision, what does it look like by this date? Am I halfway there? Am I a third of the way there? Am I almost there? What does it look like by this date? That's your next vision. So you understand what it looks like on the way. So you understand what it looks like in the messy middle. So you understand what it looks like to be taking action towards that thing, even though you're not there yet. Because what we do in our brains when we're making dreams, it's this imaginary place. And then what we do in our brains when we're making a goal, we just imagine it's done. We forget to think about what it looks like a quarter of the way there, a half of the way there, 3/4 of the way there, 90% there. What does it look like at those stages? Those are the places that live in this messy middle called the next vision. If we forget to look at what that could be like, we're going to be blindsided when we're in low motivation and then our dream goes out the window. And of course, a goal never even happened because we didn't put a deadline to it. Okay? So that's your far vision. That's your next vision. And the now vision is your plan. Your plan is what am I going to do to get to those places that are halfway there, to get to those places that are what done looks like. That's the plan. That's what happens now. Is my plan and my first action right now. And that first action is likely planning. It's structuring. It's creating a strategic plan. Whether it's personal or for your business, whatever it is creating a strategic plan. What does it look like to do these things? What does A plus effort look like? What does A effort look like? A minus effort look like? B plus effort look like? B. And guess what I want you to do? I want you to make B minus effort acceptable. Because if you are an A player, so many dreams get thrown out the window because they weren't perfect, because you can't complete it at an A status. But guess what? An 80% is still an A. An 80% is still something that is going to get you to your dream. It might not look perfect, but getting to that dream, getting to that goal is so much better than not having it at all. Getting there without the perfection of the perfect vision is so much better than it still being a place that's floating around in your head and it never came to reality. It's all in your imagination. So this is where I propose to you that you allow some B minus work. B minus work is the stuff that gets things done versus A plus work is in the world of perfectionism, and it often doesn't happen because it's never good enough. So it gets stalled, it gets stopped, it gets eliminated. But if you're going to be able to accept messy change along the way, changes in identity, changes in action, changes in reality, if you're going to be able to accept all that, B minus work is going to have to be acceptable along the way. And you can do that. So let's do that. So that's what it looks like in the far vision. Is that desire? Is that emotional pull? Is that place? What do I want? Why do I want it? What does it feel like getting it? In the next, this is a messy middle. What does it look like halfway through, a quarter of the way, all the way? What does it look like now? Now is a plan to how to take those steps, to start those steps. These are the things that are really, really important. If it doesn't live in your calendar with this plan and you don't execute on it, it's not a goal. It's a wish. It's not even a dream. It's still just a wish. Oh, I hope that's going to happen. It has to exist in your planning, into your day-to-day life that you execute on, called your calendar, I hope. I hope you execute on the things in your calendar. If you don't, that's a completely different conversation. Execute on the things in your calendar. And we know that whatever we're putting in there follows the SMART goal list. And SMART goals are this. They are specific. You know exactly what it is. You know why you want it. It's that thing that I can tell a 10-year-old and they understand what I'm telling them. This is what I want. Oh, it sounds like this. I understand. That's specific. It's measurable. You can say a 1 or a 0 whether you did it or not. Or you can measure it in dollars. You can measure it in time. You can measure it in pounds. You can measure it in all sorts of things. Cookies baked. I don't care. Whatever it is, you can measure it. A is that it's achievable. You actually can do this. It's not something that's so outlandish that it's impossible to do in the time frame that you've set out. That's what makes it one of the things that makes it a goal. And R is that it's relevant. It aligns with your values. It matters to you for these reasons because I value these things. It's relevant to you. And then T, it's time-bound. Yes, this is exactly what we're talking about. You can have all those things, SMAR, and it's still in that dream category or wishful thinking category, but you throw that T on there and you put it into the goal category, something that's far more likely to become reality. That's what we want, right there. So we want fewer goals in January. We want more precision and more clarity. So if right now, when this airs, January 5th, if right now you've got 10 things that you want to accomplish this month and big goals for this year, and they are in all sorts of categories, back up the bus. Back it up. Do not do that to yourself. Too much is simply going to have you all over the place and have the likelihood for you to have completion unrealistic. We don't want that. Keep it down to one or two big things that you know. And when I say big, it doesn't mean it's big in money or it's big in time. It means it's important to you. It could be big in money. It could be big in time. But the bigger is the more important. That's what I mean by big. 1 to 2 big, meaningful things to you. They're meaningful to you. And if you got more than that going on in terms of what you want for this year, back in it. Get more clear. So if other things are accomplished, great. They are a byproduct, a positive byproduct from focusing on the 1 or 2 things. Do not go and make it 3, 5, 10 things that you want to make happen this year. Keep it focused on the 1 or 2. The other things will happen. And they will happen probably because you've got your ducks in a row on the things that really matter, the 1 or 2 big things. And for me in this new year, I'm coming through a divorce. 2025 hit me like a ton of bricks. So I've got a pretty clear priority list. 1 thing in each main category of my life. Get settled. Focus on my daughter, my family. And one big thing for my business, the launch Wycliffe Lodge. They're big things because they matter to me. It might sound simple to get settled as a family, but that's the focus. It's a lot of love and attention. And there are all sorts of things that go into the time frame for those to happen. One of them was called Get Christmas Happening. When I moved at the end of November, the thing that had me have the dream of being able to be settled for Christmas was the thing called a deadline. Christmas happens on a certain date. Therefore, I was in a position of unpacking as fast as I could to settle our home the best that we could so that we felt settled and we were all in place for Christmas. Because I didn't want the feeling of Christmas to be sullied by a divorce and a home move. I didn't want that. So the deadline made the dream happen. That's the thing. The deadline is what turns that dream into a goal and makes the dream reality instead of just something in your imagination. It was really, really an amazing thing to be able to be unpacked and settled for Christmas when I had no idea how I would do it. And without that deadline, without that emotional pull and that vision of Christmas, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I'm going to give you a few of the common traps here. That can pull you out of the progress you want to see happening in January when you've got right motivation. So too many goals, no deadlines, we've covered those. No review rhythm. This is one that if you're not reviewing what's happening so you can make the tweaks and adjustments to keep you going smoothly, if you don't do that, you're going to run into real problems because you're not going to see what you needed to adjust. So you need this review rhythm. For me, it's Fridays. Friday, I have a specific action called a power hour, and that's when I'm doing all my calendaring, and I have a very specific system that works so well. And if I'm not reviewing the previous week, then I don't have an idea of what I missed, what needs to be adjusted, what's working, what's not working. It's perfect. Perfect. So get into a rhythm of review. And when I say rhythm, it's got some consistency on time consistency. Another trap is waiting for motivation. I'm going to make an assumption that you got some motivation in January. Some people aren't going to feel it in January. That's okay. But waiting for motivation to happen, it doesn't happen. If you're not motivated in any given moment, don't wait for it magically to fall upon you. Start taking a small action, the smallest action possible, and then take another action. That's what builds motivation. That's what does it. Another trap, designing goals for this fantasy version of you instead of the real version of you. When I say the fantasy version of you, it's like we make it all perfect. We make our relationships look perfect. We make our leadership look perfect. We make our our business look perfect. And when we do that, we set ourselves up for being blindsided by the reality of what really is there. So we don't want that. And when you are disciplined enough to follow through with what you say you're going to do in the actions, even if you don't feel motivated, then that builds the momentum. Discipline isn't punishment. Over time, it's self-respect. Remember that. We've done discipline as freedom. We've done these topics before. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect. It provides you freedom. All right, I'm going to wrap this up because I want you to get into action. I want you to do it. I don't care if you're not motivated. I don't care if you are motivated. But one of the key actions you're going to have is a plan. And you're going to have in that plan what you do when you're in the messy part, what you do when something doesn't go the way you want it to, when the timelines are, when those deadlines are for the stages along the way to get to the main deadline. You need to have those things planned out. If you do not know how to do those, get your butt into our Empowered Blueprint. It is happening now. It's happening today at noon, and for the next 5 days at noon for 1 hour, we're going through each step of making your Empowered Blueprint for the year. You are invited. The link is below, somewhere in our show notes. So join us. And if you don't, minimally, make yourself a plan. Structure it out so you know how you're going to keep yourself accountable, where your deadlines are going to be, so you can make the things you want and desire the most in the world reality. I want that for you. I want you to have everything that you desire. If you desire it, it's meant for you. Go for it. Have a great rest of your day. I hope to see you on our Empowered Blueprint later today and for the rest of the week. And go get it. Go after those dreams. You've got this.